Reporting for the Intermountain Christian News, I'm Dr. Anthony Harper here at the White House. In a special meeting here at the White House, a press briefing with National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, I was prepared to ask a very important human rights question, but I was not allowed to be called upon. The press secretary has never called upon me, and I'm wondering why she is not wanting to call upon me. I've often brought up the issue, maybe there's fear involved with that because of my very crucial, important human rights questions, and I was prepared to ask a question still again about the rise of anti-Semitism and what President Biden is going to do about condemning anti-Semitism in all of its forms. Recently in my hometown of Boise, Idaho, there was an act of anti-Semitism with painting swastikas on tunnels near the Anne Frank Memorial. So I wanted to ask this National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan what President Biden is doing to condemn anti-Semitism, as mentioned, in all forms, to include condemning the desecration of the Jewish cemetery in Vilnius, Lithuania, as well as elsewhere, and advocating for those Jewish cemeteries to be restored to all their former glory, because any delay on that restoring the Jewish cemeteries is an active act of desecration, because those Jewish cemeteries are constantly being desecrated and in so many ways. So those are so important issues regarding anti-Semitism. Idaho Lieutenant Governor Janice McGeachin was one of the only politicians that I have found to make a bold statement condemning anti-Semitism in all of its forms, including the most foundational issue, and that is opposing a Palestinian state which divides Israel. Currently, the Biden administration has been very supportive of the UN agency UNRWA, which is inciting acts of violence against the Jews, but also supportive of the Palestinian consulate in Jerusalem, which Israel leaders are opposed to. That act of supporting a Palestinian state dividing Israel is a foundational issue for anti-Semitism, played out by, of course, in many ways by BDS and the issues regarding Israel as the occupier of that land. As long as Israel is being viewed as the occupier of their land, this anti-Semitism continues to grow. And finally, there's a warning in the prophet Joel chapter 3 verse 2 that says that God enters into judgment in the valley of Jehoshaphat, the nations that divide up his land. So this is the warning from the God of Israel that he is angry about people that divide up that land. So this is a very key issue to address here at the White House, what the Biden administration thinks about the God of Israel's condemning that action of dividing Israel, which indeed a Palestinian state in the heartland of Israel is actually doing.
We read news every day, news that's informative but rarely encouraging. The Intermountain Christian newspaper aims to change that. They present the news you need to know, from what's going on in your community to your world, with encouraging words, motivation, and the resources you need to make positive changes in your life. What is your local government doing that you need to know about? What's happening in your community you need to be a part of? Whether it's a story from your neighborhood, a national story, or an encouraging word, you'll find biblical issues of everyday life in the Intermountain Christian newspaper. Intermountain Christian News is produced and supported by the work and donations of individuals and churches. You'll find it at churches, Christian bookstores, by subscription, and online at imcnews.org. To find out more about supporting this local resource, go online at imcnews.org or call Intermountain Christian News in Boise, Idaho at 208-703-8688. The Intermountain Christian News, a voice sharing the truth on matters dear to people's hearts.